channel, it's your girl Liallure and I'm back at it again with another video. If you are new to my channel, hey girl, hey, my name is Leah. I make videos, story times, hauls. I do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. So it's like for the kids, you know the vibes. And if you're a returning subscriber, hey friend, how are you? I hope you're doing wonderful, fabulous, beautiful, amazing. So if you are new to my channel, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. I made it to 5K. Thank you guys so much for 5K. I appreciate y'all. So, you know, make sure you hit that subscribe button so that we can make it to 10K and 20K. And then, of course, we keep going until the girl gets a plaque. So if you like my story times, make sure you hit the subscribe button and don't forget to like the video because it helps me a lot. It helps other people just like you see my story times, and it also gives me the confidence and boost of energy that I need in order to keep making more story times for you guys. Liking the video is the only way that I'll know to make more of this content for y'all. Okay, so happy Storytime Sunday, you guys. It is Storytime Sunday, everybody's favorite day of the week, and I'm back with another one because my life is messy. Quick disclaimer, this story time does have some stuff to do with like colorism and like race and stuff like that, but I think at this point in my life, because it happened so long ago, I can look back at it and laugh because literally when I think about it, it feels like I was in a simulation because there's just no way it happened. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started. So back when I was in college, of course, spring break was a thing that a lot of people looked forward to. Like most people at most colleges, my friends and people like that would go to like common spring break locations. Ooh, my bad. So like most people, my friends would go to common spring break locations. They would go to Miami, or they would go to like, I don't know, like Florida Beach, or they would go to Cancun, they would go to other parts of Mexico, stuff like that. A lot of tropical and central spring break locations. Now, I am not the type of person that ever wanted to participate in spring break. If you're not new here, then this won't be a shocker to you. I am a very introverted person. As I get older, it's definitely getting to be a little bit different. I go out a little bit more as I make more friends and stuff like that. However, in general, I like to stay inside and I like to mind my business. Yeah, so I really don't like the idea of spring break because it's just way too many people. It makes me anxious. Like I can't take it, and I just know that deep down I won't have fun because I would just be on 10 all the time with my anxiety. So the idea of spring break in one of those locations never appealed to me. I don't remember when this happened specifically, but I want to say like maybe 10th grade or 11th grade.
I honestly have no idea why I kept saying 10th grade when I clearly said that this was college spring break. What I meant going forward is this was my sophomore year, because I'm gonna keep saying it for some reason, but sophomore year, not 10th grade.
When I find out the exact dates and stuff, I'm gonna put it across the screen, and I'm also gonna pop in pictures on the screen. So back to what I was saying. In spring break, let's say it was 10th grade. In spring break of 10th grade, it was around my birthday. Spring break in Syracuse usually falls around my birthday, sort of, in April. So, of course, most of my friends were going places. One friend in particular, she invited me to Mexico with some of her friends. She was like, hey girl, me and my friends are going to Mexico. We have this hotel. We found this really cool resort. It's affordable. We're not gonna be doing anything crazy. Do you wanna come?
Instantly, I was like, yeah, no.
No. And here's why. I like my friend. She was a very, very good homegirl of mine. She was trustworthy. She was not really into no rah-rah shit. So I knew her friends wasn't gonna be into no rah-rah shit. But there was a few reasons I didn't want to go. Number one, I don't really know her friends, right? I'm a good time around anybody that I meet. I make friends with anybody that I meet. I'm a good vibe. I'm a good time. I'm quiet. But when you speak to me, I'm funny. I'm nice. I get it going. I make sure everybody have a good time, essentially. But at the same time, I really didn't want to be in a foreign country with a group of people I really didn't know like that. That's just something I wasn't comfortable with. Also, again, back to my point of not wanting to be around like a lot of people during spring break. Cancun is one of the places that's the most crowded during spring break. I just did not want that. I just didn't want it. And the third thing is that at that point I had a lot of anxiety about traveling to Mexico, specifically because of like all the stuff you see on the news about like, I don't want to say no words that YouTube is gonna flag because you know how they do, honey. But you know what I mean? Like all the stuff you hear about Mexico, like all the bad stuff you hear about Mexico, I didn't want to go there for that reason. Now, I'm not saying that I was discriminating against the country and I was being stereotypical and nothing like that. But again, I'm somebody who has anxiety. The last thing I want to do is go to a foreign country where I know that it's not necessarily the safest place for tourism.
Again, I'm going to reiterate because I know how some people can be, girl, and I really don't want to hear it. I'm gonna say it loud for the folks in the back. I am not stereotyping against Mexico or its people. What I'm saying is that at that point in my life, I had so much anxiety. I had no control over it at all, that the last thing I wanted to do was go to a country with, you know, things going on, and then also be in a country with people that I did not know. I didn't want to do that.
So I politely declined and she understood. At the same time, I had realized that, well, it's vacation. You're gonna have to go somewhere. You might not go somewhere like Mexico or Miami or whatever, but you should go somewhere. I wanted to go somewhere because it was my birthday, but also just because I felt like I should at that point. So I decided to go to Toronto. Now, some of you might be thinking, why would you go to Toronto? Like, that's not a place people go to for spring break. Like what is that given? Look, I wanted to go to Canada because I had never been to Canada at that point. I had a lot of cousins in Canada. I had a lot of family in Canada. But also, from what I understood about Canada, it was somewhere that was going to be relatively calm as opposed to the other offers I was getting for spring break. So what I did was I told my parents I wanted to go to Toronto. They decided that they were going to pay for everything because it was my birthday. So they paid for the train ride from Syracuse to Toronto. They paid for my hotel accommodation, and they paid for any spending money that I might need as I'm out there. So I got on the train, the Amtrak train from Syracuse to Toronto, which was about like a 5 to 6 hour train ride. The first leg of the train ride was fine. It wasn't a problem. It wasn't up until I got to like Buffalo that I started to get really anxious. By the time I had got to Canada and I had crossed like the Buffalo border, it was dead ass 1 o'clock in the morning. It was late. Okay. So I was like, oh wow, like I'm really scared. I'm really anxious. There wasn't a lot of people around. I was like, oh, this is not what I was expecting. So that happens. I finally get to Canada. My cousin links with me at the train station, and then we go to my hotel. The hotel that I got was like in downtown Toronto, and I made sure I got like a really nice hotel room and stuff like that, and I made sure I got a double room for me and my cousin because I did want her to stay with me. Now, my cousin is my age, and for the sake of this video, we're going to call her Hannah. The first night that we were there, we really didn't do much. We kind of just like explored downtown a little bit. I took a shower, I changed into my clothes. We went to get some Wendy's. We went by the big like Toronto sign that's by the hockey rink and stuff like that. I took a picture there. It was just like a really cute like touristy vibe for the first time. Now, the second night that we got there, my cousin decides, I'm going to take you to a club. I had never been to a club before. At this point, I was like 20 years old, and so I thought that most places it wouldn't make sense to go to a club unless you're like 21, because like why would you go to a club if you can't drink, right? But of course the drinking age is different in Canada, and so is like I guess the clubbing age. So she was like, let's go to a club. I know a really cute spot that I've been trying to go to, and since you're here, we should probably go together. I was like, okay, cool, no problem. I did not have clubbing clothes at all. I didn't bring any clubbing clothes. I just bought like some random things in my suitcase, in my little carry-on or whatever. So I'm sitting there trying to look for an outfit or whatever, and let me just say, I'm not even gonna post a picture of this outfit because I was dead wrong for this outfit. I was wrong because this shit was ugly as okay? I had, I think, a skirt, some thigh-high boots, and then like a long sleeve like sweater or turtleneck. Now, in theory, it doesn't sound like a bad outfit. It sounds kind of cute, kind of chic, kind of classy, kind of, you know, fall vibes or whatever. But that shit was ugly. And if I find a picture, I'm gonna post it on the screen, and I know I'm dead wrong for that outfit. But it is what it is. So me and my cousin, we getting ready to go to the club or whatever. I was like sipping on some wine. I was listening to music. I was watching YouTube videos. I remember at the time the Remy Ma and Nicki Minaj beef had reached like its peak. This was the time that it was a literal week that they had released their like diss tracks to each other. I was listening to Remy's diss track or whatever, and I was listening to people's feedback on it while I was getting ready in the bathroom. Finally, I call an Uber, right? The Uber took, I want to say like 15 minutes to get to me, just because he was like, oh, I can't make it to the front of the building. You're gonna have to come around. So we had to end up leaving the hotel room and going down the block to find the Uber, which annoyed me to no end because it was freezing. It was freezing. I didn't make a big deal out of it. I was like, whatever, I'm just trying to go out, catch a vibe, and have my first club experience. We get in the Uber, right? First red flag of the night. This man is going off on a tangent to us. We get in the car, we're like, hello, hi, good night, or whatever. We get in the car, the Uber driver is this white man. He's like a white, like older man or whatever. And he sees the location that we're going to. So he's like,
oh, you guys going to the club?
And I was like, yeah, we're going to meet some friends there. Just because like, I don't want no man to think that nobody was looking for us and nobody knew where we were going, you know what I mean? So I told him that we were meeting some friends there. So he was like, oh, okay, like that's cool. I remember when I was young and I used to do this and I used to do that. But then the conversation made an immediate left turn. He like quickly started talking about how we should be young ladies and we should love ourselves and we should respect ourselves and not drink and not mess around with a bunch of men, and how we should carry ourselves with class and respect. And I'm looking at my cousin like, but did I ask? Did I ask? It was just weird because who asked for this unwarranted information? I certainly did not, and I know my cousin didn't either. It wasn't like nice, you know, older advice, you know, that come from older people who have experienced their lives and they want you to be safe. It was kind of very condescending, as if he thought we were going to the club to like thought out or whatever. And even if we were, that's none of his business. You know what I mean? It just seemed out of line and it felt like he was crossing a boundary that he really should not have. So the ride there, I want to say it was about like 20 minutes or something like that. We were in a car for like a pretty long time. So we finally get out and this club is like near the water. It's like right near the water. So we're walking and we're walking and we're walking. We finally get to the line. The line is stupid long, like literally wrapped around like one Manhattan block and a half or something like that. So we're like, damn, like this line is crazy long. We get on the line or whatever, and then we're just talking to each other. I'm over there shivering. I'm like, oh my God, Canada's so cold. Like I thought Syracuse was cold. Canada's so cold. And my cousin is like, you're okay, girl, like you're fine, whatever. And we're just talking to each other. This group of guys come and they stand in the line behind us. So I'm talking to my cousin, I'm minding my business. I'm not really in nobody's business. I'm just, you know, talking to my cousin to have the time go by. Suddenly, this guy taps my shoulder. I turn around. He's like,
are you from New York?
And I was like, yeah, why? He was like,
oh, because women from New York have attitudes.
Where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? First of all, it's not like me and my cousin was going back and forth and I was giving her attitude or anything like that, or I was saying anything out of line. Literally, it was a normal conversation I was having with her. If anything, we were having a conversation about family. This man literally out of nowhere said he knew I was from New York because I have an attitude. Now, mind you, this was the only black guy in a group of like 5 other white guys. So I'm like, first of all, why are you antagonizing me? Because you don't know me from nowhere. So to literally tap a stranger and be like, oh, I know you're from New York because women from New York have attitudes. Why? Where is this coming from? You're weird. You are weird, sir. So I was like, okay. And then I just turned back around and I started talking to my cousin because I'm not gonna give light to that situation. I thought it was weird, but in the back of my head, I'm like, okay, maybe he's drunk. Like, this is not a big deal. It's fine. The line keeps moving or whatever, and we finally get to the front. The front of the line was kind of like an outside tent area before you got inside of the building. When you got to the tent area, they were like giving wristbands, they were checking IDs and stuff like that. I think there was a fee to get into the club, if I remember correctly. I thought it was like $15 or something like that. What I will say about that situation is that the bouncer at the front desk was also a black man, and he also had an attitude with us. Mind you, I had been watching this man give everybody else a wristband the whole time, and he never gave anybody else an attitude. This is a good time to say that the ratio of white to black people in this line was vastly disproportionate. In general, when I looked around and I looked at the line, there were probably 6 black people, including me and my cousin, versus a line of like 70 white people. I cannot make this up. If I'm lying, I'm dying.
And there's nothing wrong with being in a space where, like, I'm obviously surrounded by white people. But I think I wanted to mention this because I felt like it was important to the development of the story, which if you keep listening, I feel like it definitely is.
It was so disproportionate. So the fact that he was being like nice and pleasant to these white girls that were clearly drunk and intoxicated, and I didn't say anything to him except hello, hi, giving him my ID, giving him my money. He just kind of like rushed us or whatever. Like, I'm like, what is this, honey? I remember at that point, I turned around and I looked at my cousin and I was like, is this normal? Is this what you guys do here? Is this what y'all do here? And she was like, I don't know, like, this is weird. I didn't know he was gonna be like that. He has an attitude. I really don't know what this is about or whatever. So I was like, you know what, girl, it's fine. Let's not worry about it. Let's just go inside. Let's just get some drinks and let's vibe out. So we finally get through the double doors to get inside. And let me just say that this club was really nice. Like, it wasn't like your average looking club. It was very nice and it was very, very vibey. And it was large too. Like, the space itself was really big. So when you walk in, it was kind of like this big kind of like main area. They kind kind of had like this blue light radiating on everyone, so it kind of like a blue light effect. It was really cool. And because a lot of people was wearing all white for whatever reason, there was no theme here. It's just a lot of people was wearing all white, so the blue light radiating on their bodies was like really cool and aesthetically pleasing. So I walk in and I'm like, oh my god, it's so cute in here, it's so nice in here, whatever. So me and my cousin immediately go to the bar. I get 2 shots of Hennessy because yes, at that time I was on the hen dog. I got 2 shots, of course, one for me, one for my cousin, and then like I got another round or whatever. So as we're standing there by the bar, we're like drinking our shots or whatever so I could pay the tab. Now mind you, when we're at this bar, there are only 2 other people at this bar, and they are 2 bar stools away from us. So this area of the bar is not crowded at all. It's not crowded at all. So the things that ensued after were just confusing to me. So we're sitting there at the bar, whatever, we're talking to each other, we're taking our shots of Hennessy, and we're just like chit-chatting or whatever. We're like looking at the space, we're looking at the area and stuff like that. This white guy walks past me, but he literally walks into me, and I'm, what the f is this? I literally I hope I'm explaining this the right way to y'all. I'm literally sitting right here, right? I'm sitting right here. There's all this space over here, all this space over here. This guy starts to walk here, and he literally inches closer to me, and he kind of like grazed me a little bit and kept walking back in the middle of the pathway. What was the reason? No, literally, what was the reason? Why did you do that? I'm like, what the f? What is going on here? It's almost like he didn't see me sitting there, but did at the same time. So now I'm really looking at my cousin like, that's how y'all give it up here? So again, she's confused. Oh my god, I've never seen this happen before. I really don't know what's going on. Canadians are usually super nice people. And I'm like, yeah, I heard y'all were nice too, so what the hell is this, honey? So she's like, I don't know. I really don't know. So at this point, I'm laughing because I find it to be funny. Like, it's a microaggression, but I find it to be funny. After we took our shot, we kind of just like walked around or whatever and just like scanned the area. The interesting thing about this club is that it had 4 rooms on the bottom floor that were kind of like its own vibe and its own aesthetic. So each room had its own color. So like, for example, one room had purple lighting and the music there was like more pop. The next room had like red lighting and the music there was rap. You know what I mean? Like, each room had its own vibe. The club itself was really cool, and I could see why she wanted to go there. But the people there were very, very, very passive aggressive, and it was weird. So we go into one of the rooms or whatever, and we're just like vibing out, you know, dancing or whatever. There's not a lot of people in the room, so we're dancing with each other, we're vibing out, taking snaps and all of that. Again, random white girl. She comes near me, grazes me.
When I was filming this story time, I was really tired and really anxious, so I said a lot of things in error. What I meant every single time I say graze is actually bump. These people bumped me, like they checked me with their shoulders. They didn't graze me as in pass by me. They bumped me, which is why I'm telling the story.
At this point, I'm starting to think I'm invisible. At this point, I'm really starting to think like I am not in this room. I think I'm having an outer body experience because there is just no way. There's no way y'all are doing this. So after she did that, I kind of ignored it because after coming through microaggressions for like the 5th time in the night when we had only been there for about an hour, I decided that it was best for me to ignore it, because if not, I was going to get into some type of altercation, and that's not what I came to Canada for. So I ignored it and I kept it moving. The difference with this situation is that after she grazed me, she literally turned around and looked at me. She looked at me like, and kept walking. Oh, what is your problem? Do you know me? You know me from somewhere? You kept walking, you turned around, you stank-faced me, and then kept walking. So after this happened, I was very clearly irritated, because then it just seemed like, okay, so it's not that you didn't see me. You saw me, because after you did it, you stank-faced me and you kept it moving. So I literally started like getting kind of aggressive in the situation. I was like, what the f? And then my cousin was like, it's fine, don't worry about it. So she took my arm, and then like we just turned around and made our way back to the main area. So I'm kind of talking my shit a little bit, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with the people here? Like, what is this about? So my cousin's trying to calm me down or whatever. So I finally get calm and I relax. I decide now to sit close to the bar because, again, this bar wasn't really full. So I was like, there's just no way anybody else is gonna act like this again. I get to the bar, I sit down with my cousin, and I'm vibing out, I'm nodding my head or whatever, and I'm looking at the different sections, because you could see people in their sections from where we were sitting. I'm looking at people in their sections or whatever. I'm looking at the bottle girls. I'm like, you know, just chilling. This black guy walks in. He has all white on, and I kind of make eye contact with him because he was the first black guy that I had seen in the club since I had been inside. Not on the line, since I had been inside, he was the first one I had actually seen. So I made eye contact with him. Now let me just say, I wasn't thirsty for attention. I didn't want this guy to say hello to me. I didn't want him to buy me a drink, no, nothing like that. I made eye contact with this man because he was black, I was black, and I was like, oh shit, like, brother. So we make eye contact, and when I tell you this man looked at me like he looked at me literally just like that. And I was like, what the f? Like, I was like, okay. Now I know I'm not bugging. Now I know I'm not bugging, because at this point, it's been several people, both black and white, that have looked at me and my cousin. Literally looked at me like,
didn't somebody tell you this was an all-white party? Huh?
what the f? So I was confused the whole time, but when this guy looked at me like, why the f are you here? I decided it's time to get my black ass up out of here.
Ooh, that'll do it. You don't have to worry about me. You do not have to worry about me.
I decided it's time for me to leave quickly, expeditiously. It's time for me to go. Yeah, I have to leave. It was just like a bunch of microaggressions that I didn't understand. And because I know myself, like, I could only take it to a certain point, you know what I mean? Like, you can keep going and keep trying me, and the first few times I'm gonna laugh, but the last time I'm gonna be laughing for a different reason. So I decided that it was time to leave. And also by that time it was like 2 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, I'm not having fun. The people here are weird, and I just like to leave. So my cousin completely understood, because she also felt a type of way too, and I think she was also kind of embarrassed because she wanted to take me to the spot, and she was also always telling me like, Canada's so nice, they're so much nicer than Americans here, da 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 da. And when I finally came to the club and I was around a bunch of Canadians, all I got was microaggressions. So I think she was kind of embarrassed. But when we were in the Uber, I was just laughing the whole way there. I was like, girl, don't worry about it. Like, this was a weird experience, but this is not your fault. I'm sure everybody else is completely nice. Like, it's okay. And I will say that we did go out the next day after that. We went out with my 2 older cousins. They met up with us, and we went to a seafood boil place near my hotel. And I did notice that the people in the downtown area were much nicer than the people at this club. Like, people in Toronto are very friendly. They're super, super sweet. Like, they all hold the door open for you. They're all very nice. They say good morning. I don't know. I think when I stepped into the club, it might have literally been an all-white party in both literal senses, because there was a lot more white people to black people there, but also most people were dressed in all white. And honestly, I feel like that's one of the reasons why I don't go to clubs. Like, I really don't enjoy clubs, because that was my first club experience, and after that I was just turned off by the whole thing. But again, I don't like clubs because I'm just somebody who doesn't like to be in crowded spaces and areas. So I was just like, after that, I'm straight. I'm good off that. I'm alright. So that was my experience with like a night out gone wrong, microaggressions in another country, just people looking at me like, why the f is you here, ho? Just a weird, all around weird situation. I don't even know what to name this, bro. But I just remembered to tell this story because I watched my boyfriend and I were watching this show on Apple TV called Roar. And I think Issa Rae is like one of the producers on it. But with Issa Rae's episode, basically, she was a black woman who was literally invisible when she went to LA. Like, people would, like, white people would literally like sit on her and be like, oh my god, I didn't see you, I'm so sorry. She walked into a room and it literally was like she was not there. And so that's what reminded me to tell this story. I don't know if you guys will enjoy it, but looking back on it, I can laugh at it now. But I did want to fight at some point that night. It was just weird. If you like this story, make sure you like, comment, subscribe and join gang, because if you watch this whole video, you might as well stick around. And don't forget to subscribe as well, because I'm sure you want to see more story times of mine. Follow me on all my socials. That is TikTok, Twitter, Instagram. That is in the outro and also in the description box down below. Call me, beat me if you want to reach me. I love you guys so much, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, y'all.
Shout out to everybody. I had fun.